Jill Kebb. It seems people are able to get out of Scientology or the Sea Organization with nothing and rebuild. I'd like to hear more about that. What line of work did you get into? Is there a list of people who would help support defectors? For a lot of people, especially those who were in the Sea Org for years, who were in a tight, cloistered situation where their whole lives were nothing but Scientology, coming out of that situation can be very daunting and difficult because you do pretty much start with nothing. They give you, when you leave the Sea Organization, they give you $500. At least that's what they gave me as severance pay after 17 years of abuse. And you are back at square zero. They take some measure of responsibility when you leave to make sure that you land somewhere, you have someplace to go. They don't just hand you your bag and your papers and say, hit the road, Jack. They try to, do something so that you won't just, end up back on their doorstep or something like that. I ended up, landing at my mother's house in Sacramento and got my feet on the ground that way, right? Different people have different things that happen to them, right? Not everybody has been as lucky as I have been in having as much support that I had, right? Or having job skills. They train you to do things when you're in Scientology and the Sea Org because you're working for that organization, and they have all manner of things that you do when you work there, whether you're a cook or whether you're doing physical labor like building furniture or an engineering work or something like that, or you're doing personal interaction work, whether you're a Scientology counselor or a course supervisor like a teacher, or whether you're an executive or something like that. Now, a lot of those skills don't translate so well when you come out, though. It's not like if you're an executive in the Sea Organization that you're an MBA, when you come out. It doesn't work that way, right? And I had a real hard time trying to find work initially using Scientology as my reference and on my resume. That didn't get anywhere. Nobody wanted to have anything to do with me because of that. But what I did was I trained myself very quickly on Photoshop, After Effects, graphic design, principles of graphic design. All of that for me is all self-taught, and I'm no master of all of that, but I'm competent at it, right? And it's something I had an interest in when I was in the Sea Org, and I did copywriting, and I did promotional materials, and I did recruitment for the Sea Org. So I learned how to use InDesign and Photoshop and things like that, and I learned more about that sort of thing after I got out and then started my YouTube channel. So my attitude has always been a sort of just roll with it and learn as you go. And maybe one positive aspect of the Sea Org attitude of make it go right, and the supreme test of a person is his ability to make things go right. One thing that toughens you up a bit, and so when you come out of that situation, you are you have a strong work ethic because you've been working your ass off for however long you've been involved with the Sea Org, and you are not afraid of work particularly. And you have a very kind of gung-ho attitude about learning things. At least, most people that I knew were like that. Not everybody, but a lot. So that's how I got myself, my feet on the ground and stuff, is I had the help of my family and friends and that sort of thing that I made as I came out. And some people have that and some people don't. As far as a support system for defectors, the reason that we don't really talk about this a lot, we being Scientology critics or advocates against Scientology, is because if I were to tell you who offers support for people who come out of Scientology, the Church of Scientology would go ruin those people. So the last thing I can really do is talk about what kind of support system there is for people who come out of Scientology. When you come out of the Sea Organization or you come out of Scientology, when you make yourself publicly known as somebody who has done that, people will reach out to you, and there is support, and there is advice, and there is direction, and I do know people who have given of their time and their effort and their money to help support people who are landing and getting on their feet. I had some of that help myself when I did eventually end up here in Denver. So So those people exist, but it's not like they're, you know, they run a website or they have some sort of base of operations or something, or it's, you know, anybody who shows up will get money or something. It doesn't work that way. You have to, you know, make friends and show that you're, you know, obviously somebody who can be trusted, because there have been times when, you know, people have taken advantage of other people. You know, people who come out of the Scientology and come out of the Sea Org are human beings, and there's good ones and there's bad ones. So there's all kinds of stories connected with this, but that sort of thing is always, it's not really talked about publicly much because we don't want the Office of Special Affairs or the Church of Scientology to get their mitts involved in this. And believe me, they do. They really make efforts to try to find people who are helpful to those who leave, and they try to ruin them, right? So I'm not going to help them out by giving any names or any specific stories or something like that, because that really would not be very constructive. So all I can really say is that there are support systems, there are people who are willing to help, and you know, myself included. I have not financially, but I have helped people who have come out with advice and direction and things like that. And of course, I've talked on my channel ad nauseum about recovering from Scientology. So those things exist, and I hope I'm making myself clear as to why I'm only talking about it in general terms. There you go.